It's 2020, so I'm going up. My vision clear, I done seen me enough. Stop popping them perkies, I'm putting them.
What is up, everybody? Nick Lucia here, and Lucia89, back at it. NFL Week 4, DraftKings Daily Fantasy, NFL Week 4, first look. First, let's look at our lineup from last week, from Week 3. I did the NFL 1.75 million play action, 100K to first. This was my lineup that I picked live last week. Last week I picked Ryan Tannehill. The thought process was there. I was correct. 321 passing yards, 9 rushing yards, 1 reception. He just couldn't get into the end zone. 1 INT doesn't really hurt you, but he didn't have any passing touchdowns. 16 fantasy points. Didn't kill me, but I didn't cash out. I won $0. I was only 2 points away from cashing. So that kind of hurt me that he didn't find the end zone once. If he would have found the end zone, maybe to Davis here or JONNU Smith, then these 2 plays would have cashed. Would have helped out right here with these points. That's really where I messed up, and I went with Demir Bird, who only got 3 receptions. I was hoping for more like 6 or 7 and a touchdown, but 5 points still didn't kill me at 3,000. Tyler Lockett smashed at 4,000. He had 3 receiving touchdowns. 40 points. And then I had Dalvin Cook get me 29.9 fantasy points. These were my 2 good plays. Zeke didn't really hit his value at 8,300. He only got 17.8 points. You really need over 20 for Zeke at that price. That's really what hurt me. Terry McLaurin, not too bad for the price point, 5,900, 12.6 fantasy points. And Jets defense didn't give me any fantasy points. I was hoping this game would be a lot closer than what it was. So I messed up on the defense, messed up on going too low here. And that's really it. Everything else was just bad luck. So let's move on to, we're going to play the same game here. First look lineup. 1.6 million play action, 100K to first. Let's get that 100K with this lineup here. I'm not going to spend too much time on each player. This is just a first look. We're just going to go through, just say a few things about each player. We got Lamar Jackson here at the top, 8,100. Going up against Washington. Possible blowout situation where he can get 27 plus fantasy points here. It's going to be around the same game as this right here. If not more points. So Lamar is a good play here at 8,100. But if you want to save some money, you can come down at Russell Wilson here, who's been outstanding. 34, 34, 39 fantasy points through the first 3 weeks. I can see him getting 30 plus going up against Miami. The only thing you don't want to happen here is them go up early with some Chris Carson touchdowns if he's still playing. But he's banged up right now, so I think Russ could have another big game here against Miami. Patrick Mahomes going up against New England, 43 fantasy. He went from 20 to 30 to 40. Let's see if he can get 50 this week. I like Patrick Mahomes here at 7,400. Great play. Moving down the list. Josh Allen, 35 fantasy points per game, 7,300, going up against Las Vegas. I faded him last week. I only had him in a few lineups, but this week I will be playing him a lot more. I think he's the real deal. He has proved himself through 3 weeks to me. Josh Allen going up against Las Vegas. I think this is a good play here. Dak Prescott going up against Cleveland. Another great play here. I think Dak's going to get 30 plus fantasy points here. Great play at 7,200. Kyler Murray, another outstanding play. Great price point for only 7,000 here. Rushing potential against the defense that can't really stop the run. This is going to be one of my plays of the week. Kyler Murray at 7,000. I'm going to pass on Goff. Watson here going up against Minnesota, 6,600. I think he's underpriced here going up against Minnesota. Defense that has been letting up a lot of deep passes, a lot of air yards, a lot of passing touchdowns. Give me Deshaun Watson here. 6,600 of my quarterback for this week. Going up against Minnesota, it's going to be a bounce-back week, a must-win situation for Deshaun Watson. I think he goes off this week. for 6,600. We got Big Ben going up against Tennessee. If this game is played, as of right now, it looks like it might not because of the COVID outbreak. But if they can keep that under control, Big Ben is a good play here at 6,500. Cam Newton, another great play at 6,400. Could be playing from behind. I think they will be playing from behind. Possible lot of rushing yards. He might rush over 100 here for Cam Newton. Possibly 2 rushing touchdowns. Great play at 6,400. Next, we have Joe Burrow against Jacksonville. I'm going to pass this week. Tom Brady, I'm going to pass. Tannehill, pass. Stafford, pass. Gardner Minshew here. Underdog. Could get 28 fantasy points this week for only 5,900. I think this is a good play here against Cincinnati. Could be a shootout. Drew Brees against Detroit at only 5,800. I think Drew Brees steps it up this week. He needs to win here. Going up against Detroit, I think he gets the win here. Give me Drew Brees at 5,800. I'm going to pass on the rest of these quarterbacks. Nick Foles could be interesting at Indy. If you want to take that risk, take that punt play with Nick Foles, you can. We've seen it from him before. And that could be a shootout here against Indy. But I like Indy's defense there. I'm going to pass on Nick Foles. There's only one more play here I like down here. Everything else I'm going to pass up on. I like Ryan Fitzpatrick here at 5,400. Going up against Seattle. Could be playing from behind. Should be playing from behind. Possibly 25 to 30 fantasy points for Ryan Fitzpatrick. Might break the slate here at Miami. If you're looking for a low value stack, if you want to go that Miami against Seattle and run it back with a running back, or maybe just run it back with Lockett, that could be smart there and contrary. Alright, everything else down here I'm going to fade. Daniel Jones possibly, but not appealing to me. Everything else is a fade. My top 5 would be Deshaun Watson. Number 2 would have to be Patrick Mahomes. Russell Wilson at 3. Josh Allen at 4. Dak Prescott at 5. Kyler Murray at 6. And then whatever else after that. But sneaky plays could be Gardner Minshew here, Nick Foles, and Ryan Fitzpatrick. Moving on to running backs. At the top, we got Alvin Kamara. I think this is a smash play against Detroit. I shouldn't have to say much for this play. 23, 38, 47. Can he get over 50 this week? Let's get him in there and see if he can. I think Kamara is a must lock of the week. There's not really locks, but as long as he stays healthy, that is going to be a smash value play there. Zeke, I'm going to fade Zeke this week against Cleveland. I think Zeke's going to stay right around this 20 fantasy point range this week. Playing from ahead. They are going to run, but I don't think Zeke smashes here. I could be wrong. At 7,800, he did drop in value, so this could be a good time to buy low. Buy Zeke at a low price point for a possible smash play. But I'm going to pass. I like Dalvin Cook here going up against Houston. I see Houston playing from ahead. Dalvin Cook, you know, they're going to need him out of the backfield and rushing the ball. So let's try to get Kamara and Cook in there at too high priced. But those are my 2 running back plays at the top end that I like. I'm going to pass on Henry against Pittsburgh's defense. Eckler's good at 7,100 going against Tampa Bay, but I like Tampa Bay's defense this week. Nick Chubb going up against Dallas. If I'd play anyone from this game, I would play Hunt, not Chubb. Hunt over Chubb. I said it last week and it hurt me, but I think this week it's going to be true. James Conner against Tennessee. Good game here going up against a tough defense. But James Conner is getting the volume that you need to see out of starting running back for only 6,900. Could be a smash play. Jacobs, I'm going to pass this week against Buffalo. Taylor, I'm going to pass this week against Chicago. Robinson, great play at 6,500. One of my favorite plays of the week going up against Cincinnati. I think 10, 20, 30. He might get 40 points this week. James Robinson is a great play this week for 6,500. But I'm looking for some value here. So I'm going to have to keep going down. Clyde Edwards-Helaire, I do not like him here against New England at 6,400. Carson's banged up. I already said I like Hunt over Chubb. Drake here against a Carolina team that can't really stop the run. If this is the week for Drake to break out, it is this week, even though he's struggling against Washington, Detroit, you know, two teams that aren't really that good. I don't know about Drake. I'm not sure if I'm buying in just yet, but he's getting one of the best matchups he's going to see all year. Devin Singletary against Las Vegas. I think this is a good spot for him at 5,900, but I'm going to pass on him this week. He is going to see a majority of the volume there, almost all the snaps there. I like Singletary, but I'm going to pass this week. I'm going to have a little bit of Singletary. Don't get me wrong, a little bit of Drake, a little bit of Singletary, a little bit of Mixon. I like this range right here of running backs from Hunt to Davis and Henderson. Davis had a great week last week. So did Henderson. Both found the end zone. But this is what I like about Mike Davis right here. You know, he's getting the targets. 8 targets, 9 targets, plus 13 attempts. He's getting 20-plus touches, you know, a game. Now that he's the primary back, I like Mike Davis at 5,700. But I'm going to go down here. I don't really like anyone else besides Rex Burkhead here. You saw what he did last week going against Kansas City this week. I think he can do it again. I don't think he's going to get 3 touchdowns, but possibly 2 this week with James White still being out. Well, James White questionable. But I do like, we need to get some value at 4,800. Rex Burkhead is not going to kill you against Kansas City. They should be playing from behind, which means Rex Burkhead will be in there. Now we got wide receivers. At the top, we got Hopkins, 8,500, deserving to be at the top against Arizona. Definitely play Hopkins. Have a lot of Hopkins in your lineups. He is not a bad play, never is. I think he found his spot there at Arizona. Thomas could be back this week. That's why I like pairing possibly Thomas up with Drew Brees and some stacks. Since you're getting the value on Drew Brees this week and a little bit of value on Thomas. Tyler Lockett. I love Lockett. He's on my season-long fantasy team. Saw 13 targets last week, 40 points, found the end zone 3 times. This could be a week for Lockett with Russ, or you can go Tyreek Hill right here. You know, get a good bit of targets. But I think Lockett right now has the better matchup. We got DK if you want to save 200, but I don't really like his decision making. I think Lockett has bigger upside than DK. We got Diggs here against Las Vegas. Had a decent, you know, average game last week. Got in the end zone. But I don't see him having a smash. I mean, he could have a smash week here against Las Vegas. Not a bad play at 6,800. Allen Robinson, good play here. Said it last week. I'm going to say it again. Good play. Cooper could go off here against Cleveland. I think he's going to be the one that might go off there. But they have a lot of good wide receivers, and we're going to see that as we get down here in the lineup. We got Cooper Kupp against Giants. He could go off again this week. Going up against the Giants, but I think they're going to rely on the run this game. They're not going to need to pass that much this week. So I'm going to pass Cooper Kupp this week. Juju, I'm going to pass. Thielen, you know, a lot of good receivers down here in this mid-range. I'm going to get Fuller, though, at 5,900. Pair him up with Watson. I think Fuller has a great game against that Minnesota team. You know, not playing. He had one bad game here. But I think this is an outlier compared to this is where he's going to be at. And that's not bad for 5,900. Moving down, Beckham could be a good play playing from behind against Dallas. Parker against Seattle could go off. These are all good plays here. Edelman, Moore. I'm going to fade these guys down here. CD Lamb, good play at 5,400. I'm going to pass, though. Jefferson against Minnesota against Houston, if you want to run that game back. With Jefferson, I think he finally found his role. And I think he finally found his spot there in Minnesota. Finally starting to heat up, but I need to find some more value. So we're going to go down the list here. I like Sanders here, 4,800 against Detroit. If you want a big stack there with Thompson, Michael Thomas, and Drew Brees. But I'm moving down the list. Isabella here, 4,500. Great play against Carolina. Saw 4 targets in end zone twice. I think he's going to see an uptick in targets and find the end zone once. But I'm still going down the list here. Cooks could be, you can pair him up with this stack if you want to throw him in there. But I like Hardman and Watkins here. 2 good plays at a low price point. But the guy I'm going for is still down this list. Claypool, good play. Humphreys, the same game if it plays out. Harry dropped in price going up against Kansas City, and he could see an uptick in targets this week playing from behind. But I'm going to move down. This is my first look lineup, so I apologize if it's taking a little while to find the player I'm looking for. And here he is, Cedric Wilson. Against Dallas, saw 7 targets last week against Seattle, 2 touchdowns, 3,000. I'm sticking with the hot hand here. 3,200. I'm going to need the value. I mean, I'm just throwing a dart here. Hopefully, I need the value. I'm throwing a dart. I mean, Kenny Stills could be good here at 3,200. Actually, I'm going to go with Kenny Stills, 3,200. But I like Cedric Wilson here to be a tournament play if you're trying to win that tournament. But I'm going with this Houston stack right here. Deshaun Watson with Kenny Stills and Fuller. Now, let's get a defense. Defenses I like this week are at the top. You know, Ravens, Rams, Steelers, Bills. You know, you got your obvious at the top. Some mid-range. I like the Buccaneers here. I like the Seahawks. I like the Colts. But I'm going to go down to the Texans and get that defense. I think this is the week they step up and they get some pressure on the quarterback, Kirk Cousins, and I think he throws a couple interceptions early in the game. And now tight ends at the top. I like Kelsey, I like Andrews, I like Higbee. Out of these top 3, I would go Higbee, Kelsey, Andrews this week. Waller disappointed last week, but you can go back to him in that game. They're going to be playing from behind. They're going to need to find someone. I think Waller is a great play. I like JONNU Smith against Pittsburgh. I like Eric Ebron here, though. This is who I'm going to be playing. Eric Ebron going up against Tennessee. I think he finds the end zone twice this week. Give me Ebron. And actually, no, I'm going to change that. Give me Dalton Schultz here for Dallas. I think he, you know, he's getting a lot of targets here. I think he stays in this target range. They have a lot of receivers. The question is, are they going to be playing from behind? And I don't think so, so I'm not going to put that in there. I'm going to go back to my Eric Ebron, my gut choice. And thank you. Peace out. Let's get the 100,000 with this lineup. I'm going to keep this lineup and show you the results next week. Let's enter it. Let's look at it. Bam. Watson, Cook, Kamara, Fuller, Lockett, Stills, Ebron, Burkhead, Texans. I think that's a solid lineup. You can copy it if you want, but I would change something just so we don't tie for that 100,000. Peace out.